Lauren Tenenbaum, and are you guys ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Lauren, whenever you're ready, you may begin. You have 10 to 15 minutes. The clock is up here.
Since I'm an honors, so I have
Oh gosh, she's
15
right. 15 to 20. Lauren, do 15 to
Okay.
20. I'm sorry, she's an honor student.
All right.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lauren Tenenbaum, and for my senior seminar presentation, I completed gymnastics personal improvement. Okay. For as long as I can remember, gymnastics has consumed me. It's been my identity for the past 10 years, and ever since I was little, I always looked up to the older girls at the gym. I remember when I was younger, I wanted to show up to practice early just so I could watch them. Now today as a senior, I have a little 6-year-old buddy who thinks the world of me. Gymnastics to me is not just a sport where I learn to do crazy tricks in the air. It's a place where I'm a role model to the younger girls and can show them how hard work pays off. Because in a few short years, those girls will be the next Lauren Tenenbaums of the gym that the younger girls admire. My project consisted of 120 hours of training and working out in the gym at Buckeye Gymnastics, as well as 30 hours spent on research. My on-site advisor, Fernando Villa, is my main coach at the gym. He recently moved over the summer from California specifically to train at Buckeye Gymnastics. As amazing of a coach Fernando is, it's even more amazing that he himself never was a gymnast. He has been a gymnastics trainer for 15 years, and everything he knows he's learned from national team training camps, other coaches, and even other gymnasts. His tough workouts produce confident, strong, and talented young athletes. He has even coached and is currently training Olympic gold medalist Gabby Douglas and many other elite athletes at her level. I chose to do gymnastics for my senior seminar project because gymnastics has been my life for so long. Even though at times I may have lost track of my goals, I've never forgot or lost feeling what it's like to flip in the air because that feeling is indescribable, and swinging on bars, there's nothing like it. Over the duration of my project, I have learned a standing back tuck on the high beam, a double tuck on floor, a shoot over on bars, as well as a double tuck dismount on bars. I was able to learn all of these skills over a 4-month period. My training consisted of 4 hours of workout, 5 days a week. During workout, I practiced all of my skills, conditioned, and listened to my coach's corrections. Also, outside of the gymnastics gym, I went to other gyms to use their workout machines and weights. A normal day in the gym at Buckeye Gymnastics begins for me at 3:30 and goes till about 7 or 7:30 each day. When we first arrive, we run and stretch for about 30 minutes. After a 30-minute stretch, we have 3 45-minute rotations. We always do bars and beam and then alternate between floor and ball every day. After our rotations, we have 30 minutes of conditioning, and then the last 15 minutes are spent stretching and a coach's talk. At the beginning of my project in September, I did a pre-test, and then halfway through October, I did my mid-test, and then at the end of November, I did my post-test. And here's my progression on my double tuck on floor, and this first video you're going to see is me doing my double tuck off of a springboard going into the pit. And the pit is really helpful because it's just a practice area where I know that if I mess up, I'm not going to get hurt and I can end anyway and nothing's going to happen to me. And then next is my mid-test, and it's really similar, but I don't have a springboard. And the springboard is so helpful because it makes you go higher, you have more time to flip in the air, and it's nothing like the real floor. My last video is me doing my double tuck on the front floor going into the resi, and the resi is like pretty much the floor. It's just like a little softer for comfort. And I have a light spot, but he wasn't really doing that much. And then on the pit, like in the pit, you can't land on your feet. Like there's no landing, but on here you can land. So my next skill that I learned was my shoot over on bars, and I also did the same dates for my pre, mid, and post test. And then this first video is just a drill, and the drill is super important because it shows you when to release your hands. And then my mid test is me doing a shoot over by myself in between the bars with a little padding on the low bar. And then my final video for my shoot over is me doing it in between the bars with no padding and a little spot for my coach. Also, the difference between the second and third video is that in the second video I only went to horizontal, and in the third video I caught the bar on handstand. And then this fourth video right here is just something else I learned during my project, and it's a double tuck dismount on bars. My last goal was getting a back tuck on the high beam, and as well I did my pre, mid, and post test. And the first video is of me doing my back tuck on what we like to call the highway beam, and that's because it's a thicker beam and it's on the floor and it's squishy and it's there and it's for comfort, and it's where you learn like your beginner skills. And then the second video is of me doing my standing back tuck on the high beam with a pad. And then the last video is of my back tuck without the pad. So obviously, like in every aspect of life, there are great times and times that aren't as good as others. The best moments are when I master a skill or land a difficult skill perfectly. Landing my double tuck dismount on bars made me feel like anything else that my coaches would throw at me, I could do it, because the double tuck was so hard for me, and even though I learned it really fast, it's been my biggest fear for so long to let go of the bar. And then my least favorite part of gymnastics is dealing with fear. Sometimes I get so scared that no amount of yelling from a coach could push me to do it, because fear controls me. It takes over my brain. It makes me think I can't do it, and I get really scared that I'm going to get hurt and nothing could ever make me go. So sometimes the best thing for me to do is just chuck my skill, no matter how prepared I am or how confident I am, because it'll show me that when I'm done, I'm alive, I'm okay, and if I can do it once, that means I can do it again. So during my project, I learned how to persevere through pain and overcome certain fears. And at the beginning of my project, on a Saturday morning practice, at the end in conditioning, we were doing suicide runs, and as I bent down to touch the line and turn, I tripped over my toe. And even though it wasn't broken, it was really swollen and black and blue, and like the coach just said it might as well have been broken because that's how long it took me to recover. But during my time when I was out, I still did bars and I still conditioned to make sure I wouldn't lose any strength. Also, I overcame many fears, and the main thing to come over fears is just by repetition and believing in myself and trusting that my coaches would never have me do anything I wasn't ready for. Overall, I learned how to deal with my fear, push through an injury, I learned many new skills on many different apparatuses, and I learned how to push through really difficult conditioning. I would say my biggest accomplishment would be learning my shoe-over release move on bars, and this skill alone can take years to master. Even though I haven't mastered it yet, my coaches have told me that I've done a pretty amazing job learning it. And the skill consists of starting on the high bar and facing the low bar, and then you cast, swing, and let go of the bar one hand at a time, and then you do a half turn in the air and then catch the low bar and handstand. And it's the second video that we watched. And the complexity and all the different elements going on at the skill at one time makes it so hard to learn and super scary. For my preliminary research, I researched how gymnastics has changed over time. Just since 1976, the gymnastics world has changed so much. The difficulty on all four apparatuses has increased more than I can even explain. But to give you an idea, the skills that I have now at level 8 and 9 are the same skills that Nadia Comaneci competed in the 1976 Olympics and won. The only event itself that has really changed is bars, and mainly that's the distance between the high bar and the low bar. In the late 1900s, the high bar and the low bar were so close together that someone could hang on the high bar and their hips would touch the low bar. And now the bars are so far apart that when I'm hanging on the high bar, as far stretched out as I can be, my toes will barely skim the low bar. Lastly, scoring has changed a lot, not really for compulsory, but for the elite level. And scoring has always been out of 10 points, but now for the elite level, you have your raw score of 10 points, and then you have your difficulty, because the harder skills you do, the more points you get for them. And then you have your execution, which is how well you do the skill. All three of my literature reviews were based on fear and how to overcome it. Fear is just a game that our brain plays with us, and we have the ability to overcome it. Whether it might be nighttime exercises and visualizations, stepping back from the skill and coming back later, all of these are proven to help overcome fear. Fear is tricky to conquer because a lot of times we don't even know why we're scared. But repetition, staying calm and confident always help. For my first interview review, I interviewed my coach and on-site advisor, Fernando Villa. My overall question for him was, how does his knowledge of gymnastics improve our skills? Fernando emphasized a lot about side drills and conditioning and how you can't have a champion and can't make a strong gymnast without them. Another thing Fernando impressed upon was how you have to teach young girls differently from older girls. Young girls have no fear, and anything you tell them to do, they'll do it in 5 seconds and will get hurt. Whereas the older girls have a concept of what can happen when we're not focusing 100% of the time, and understand that we can really hurt ourselves. Lastly, Fernando understands the fear aspect of gymnastics because he was never a gymnast himself. This makes it easier for us because since he never did it himself, he has a better understanding of what we're going through. For my second interview review, I interviewed 2012 Olympic champion Gabby Douglas and elite athlete Nia Dennis. Both of these girls are very well known in the gymnastics world, and I wanted to know how they accomplished their goals while also dealing with success. Both of them said, obviously, that without gymnastics in their life, they wouldn't be where they are today. To achieve their goals, they both had to sacrifice so much, as well, a big one being a normal high school life. Although they wish that they could go to school, they realize that homeschooling is the best thing for them because it fits in with their workout schedule. Dennis and Douglas both say that the biggest thing they struggle with is excelling in competition and living up to everyone's high expectations. Because Rio 2016 is coming up fast, both of them are under extreme amounts of pressure. To deal with this, Dennis likes to listen to music, and Douglas appreciates reading positive scriptures. In the end, they love gymnastics and know that to be where they are today, it was necessary for them to give up and sacrifice to pursue their dreams. Looking back at my project as a whole, I wish I would have set more goals on bars because bars is my favorite event, and I learned that since I have such a high passion for it, skills just come easier for me because I want to learn them so much more. Gymnastics has taught me life lessons that I know will help me in college as well as in the future, and I've learned determination, dedication, discipline, and perseverance that I know I couldn't have learned anywhere else. Next year, I hope to attend either Indiana University or University of Arizona and plan to major in business and fashion. After this season, it will be the close to my gymnastics, but I would still like to pursue a performance-based activity, so I thought that acting would be good for me. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone who made my senior seminar presentation possible. I'd like to thank my coach Fernando for putting up with me in the gym these past few months, my parents for putting up with me during this stressful time. I'd also like to thank Fernando again, Nia, Dennis, and Gabby Douglas for allowing me to interview them with their busy schedules. Also, I'd like to thank Buckeye Gymnastics for being a second home for me these past 10 years and for providing me with an amazing facility. And lastly, I'd like to thank Mrs. Scott for guiding me through this whole project, because without you, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you.
Okay, so I know you focused on like the 4 skills, I think, as you went through, or
Mhm.
3. So did you like try to learn them all at the same time, or did they focus on just one of